Howdy, I'm Dr. Cameron Murphy, Vice President of Operations and Product Development here at Krampade, the Potassium Company. Everything we do revolves around our proprietary high potassium formulation, which drives potassium into the muscles very fast, very effective, very safe, and most of all, very affordable. Most Americans get about half the potassium they need each day, only ingesting 2,600 milligrams on the average, need at least 4,700 milligrams. For every hour of exercise, add at least 250 milligrams on top of that. Every organ system in the body relies on potassium for optimal function. So from head to toe, Krampade is just going to make you feel better. Today, we're going to really focus on the cardiovascular system and how Krampade can help you improve your overall cardiovascular health. When you take all the different metadata together, all the different clinical trials of electrolyte ingestion relative to cardiovascular events, the more sodium that you eat, the higher your risk factor is for developing some kind of cardiovascular disease. On the other hand, the more potassium that you ingest, the lower your risk. And so when you put these two things together, what you see is that the more sodium you have relative to the potassium, the higher the risk is for developing cardiovascular disease. Now, there's very little data under one because most people aren't under one. Most people ingest far more sodium than they do potassium. Ideally, you want to have that ratio to be 0.5, so at least 2 parts potassium for every 1 part sodium. And nature, in fact, this is usually about 10 to 1, 10 parts potassium for every 1 part sodium. So if you are following a sodium-restricted diet, no more than 1,500 milligrams, 1 serving of Krampade gets you to that electrolyte ratio to really improve cardiovascular health. If you are consuming no more than the FDA recommends for people is 2,300 milligrams of sodium, 2 servings of Krampade per day gets you to where you need to be. But for the Americans, consume about 3,500 milligrams of sodium on the average, and only 2,600 milligrams of potassium. So to get that electrolyte ratio corrected, you really need 3 servings of our 2K or 2,000 milligrams. Get that electrolyte ratio corrected and improve your overall cardiovascular health.